Charlton Athletic, champions of the Nationwide League Division 1 in the Millennium season. The story began way back the previous August. In fact, one of the earliest August starts there's ever been, and the visit of Barnsley to the Valley. Charlton needing a good start and getting it. After just 8 minutes, Clive Mendonca, after a Brown flick on from a Kinsella corner, just what the doctor ordered for Alan Curbishley and his men. Dave Bassett was in charge of the Yorkshire team for the first time, and they soon found themselves 2 down. Again, Clive Mendonca, the key player involved, brought down by the Barnsley goalkeeper Bullock. No question, the referee says penalty. Step forward, Clive Mendonca. 2-0 to Charlton, 2 for Mendonca. But Barnsley certainly asked a few questions. Craig Hignett's cross and Darren Barnard making it 2-1. Charlton needed a third to wrap it up. 9 minutes from time, they got it. A move down the right, the cross from Steve Brown. Matty Appleby handled under pressure. Penalty, said the referee. Step forward, Mr. Mendonca. A sense of déjà vu for Barnsley. A sense of 3 points for Charlton Athletic.
Mark, I just wonder, going back to the very first game of this season, how important that was, because there was bound to be question marks, I suppose, having spent a season in the Premier League, about how players would respond to being back in the Nationwide, how the fans would respond to being back in the Nationwide. But it was a full house, and you playing Barnsley, which were a good team, and you beat them 3-1, and the season was off and running.
Yeah, we knew we needed a good start. Always a good start to a season gives you a foot to keep going, and Barnsley were one of the favourites to probably win the title this year. And it was nice to get a goal, especially, like you say, coming back after the downside of last season, and to start the season with a 3-1 win was very important to us. It meant a lot to us, the fans and everybody else involved.
The postponement of a match at Crewe because of groundworks at Gresty Road meant it was a fortnight before Charlton were in action again. It was at the Valley. The visitors were Norwich City. Patience was the name of the game. What turned out to be the match-winning goal coming 17 minutes from time. That cross headed home by Richard Rufus, his first goal in front of the home fans. Graham Stewart down the left, the supply line, and Rufus heading firmly past the despairing keeper. Norwich, though, did threaten to steal a point. But the Charlton defence held firm. Played to 1-2. And the first away match, the London derby at Craven Cottage. It wasn't a first half that Alan Curbishley will look back on with any real pleasure. Fulham, the big spenders, taking the lead with a goal from Alan Nielsen. And then step forward, Paul Pesky-Salido. By half-time, it was 2. Charlton were a completely different team in the second half, menacing and purposeful. But all they had to show was a bizarre goal, officially debited as an Andy Melville own goal. But the points this time stayed in West London. It wasn't for want of trying, though. As Charlton pushed more and more men forward in search of an equaliser, Fulham sensed they could get a third goal to settle the issue. Dean Carley made one memorable save to deny Paul Pesky-Salido. And as Fulham threatened, Charlton had to man the pumps to ensure that there were no further goals. twice Kylie called thrillingly into action. Back to the Valley a fortnight later, and Bolton Wanderers stealing a goal with Michael Johansson from a Dean Holdsworth flick on. John Robinson, though, working well down the flank, supplied the cross, and Graham Stewart arriving on the scene absolutely perfectly, tied it up at 1-1. It was 10-a-side in the second half. Graham Stewart and Andy Todd getting their marching orders. But Clive Mendonca, having scored a hat-trick on the opening day, found his goal touch again to make it 2-1. Pringle's ball through, and Charlton's victory. Bolton finishing with 9, with Mike Whitlow also red-carded. Next up was Bournemouth in the Worthington Cup. Just over 10,000 watched it. It poured with rain all night. The one thing it never poured was goals, nor did it look likely to. Bournemouth had the better of it. Charlton never really looked like scoring. They knew they faced a difficult second leg at Dean Court. It was a busy week for the club. Off the field, a party headed by Chairman Martin Simons, Director Bob Whitehand, and Peter Varney, the Chief Executive, linked up with Internazionale and signed the deal.
The domestic market now is so inflated that the fees that are being quoted are out of all proportion to the quality of the player, with due respect in many cases. What this does is this gives us an option to sign players that are obviously world-class players.
The Milan Pilgrims were back, though, for the trip to Bramall Lane, Sheffield, the following Saturday. Charlton hadn't won there since 1957. The start wasn't good. After just 2 minutes, Peter Cachuro put Sheffield United into the lead. But Charlton's fighting spirit shone through. After half an hour, they were level, by which stage they had well tested the goalkeeper. The equalising goal, a cross from Sean Newton, and Andy Hunt, first of the season. Quality with a capital Q, and that's a centre-forward's goal to treasure. Into the second half, and with 17 minutes left, Mark Kinsella's shot deflected into the path of Andy Hunt. Charlton heading back down the motorway with 3 points. Indeed, the margin of victory could have been even greater. Sheffield United tried and tried. Charlton's defence underwent a severe test. 2-1 it finished. And so, to that unfinished cup business at Bournemouth. Amazingly, no goals again, even after extra time. And it was down to the 2 goalkeepers to sort out who would be hero and who would be grabbing the headlines. History will show that Dean Kiley saved from Steve Robinson, Mendonca scored, then Ovendale saved from Brown, from Konchesky and from Kinsella. And that was enough to send Bournemouth through. Not a goal between the sides over 2 legs. Penalties had seemed inevitable a long way from the end. One route to Wembley, though, was closed for Alan Kirbishley's men. Another trip followed, this time to the northwest, Prenton Park Tranmere, never an easy place for visiting teams. John Achterberg brought down Clive Mendonca after 23 minutes. He stepped up to beat him from the spot. Charlton ahead 1-0, and soon after it nearly became 2-0. John Robinson effort, agonisingly close. 7 minutes later though, Tranmere were level. Corner, scrambled in by George Santos. 1-1. A vintage set piece, 20 minutes from time from Mark Kinsella. Charlton back in front. The captain showed them how. It wasn't enough to secure victory though. Tony Grant's cross and Wayne Allison heading Tranmere level at 2-2. A frantic finale followed. It needed some good defending to ensure a point. As another Northwest team were next on the fixture list, Stockport at the Valley. You wouldn't have thought at half-time at 0-0 the second half was going to be quite what it turned out to be. Andy Hunt told he was suffering with glandular fever on the afternoon of the game, scoring from Kinsella's cross. The second goal with 20 minutes left. Penalty, said the referee, for the foul on Eddie Youds. And for the second time in 4 days, Clive Mendonca delivered the goods from the spot. Charlton weren't finished, with the clock showing time up. Shields down the right. Hunt through 2 sets of legs into the net. 3-0. And in stoppage time, Hunt rounded off what had been an eventful day. Solarco's cross, first to arrive at the help yourself counter for the 4th goal, and his hat-trick. The most emphatic win of the season so far. A cross of quality. So to the finish.
Andy, it's been a fantastic season for you personally as well as for the team. Just been flying into the back of the net no matter what you try.
Yeah, it's just it's been, you know, I've been really pleased with how it's gone. It's been such a change, you know. At the start of the year I was thinking, you know, I've got to get in the team and establish myself and, you know, and sort of prove a few things to different people, and as the season went on, it just sort of got better and better, really. And you know, hard to put my finger on it why that's happened, but you know, the team's played really well, and I think we've sort of gelled together. And you know, certainly up front, you know, I've started to get used to how the team's playing, and you know, getting used to the service that the wingers provide. So yeah, it's you know, got better and better for me as the season went on.
The October fixtures included home and away matches against Birmingham, another well-fancied team. This was always going to be tight. One young man has particular cause to remember it. Greg Shields, the man who scored after 28 minutes. It turned out to be the winning goal and enough to put Charlton at the top of the table. But they'd seen enough to know that Birmingham were going to be real threats. Sean Newton trying to create another opportunity. Somehow, Clive Mendonca unable to make it 2. And Birmingham too went all out in search of an equaliser, and it needed good goalkeeping to keep them at bay. And after a fortnight break, it was down south to Portsmouth, with former Charlton keeper Andy Pedersen in goal, helpless 3 minutes before half-time, as Hunt's shot from the left was pushed into the path of Robinson. John had been rejected by Portsmouth as a schoolboy and had come back to haunt them. The match wrapped up right at the end. But Charlton in the second half showed a real venomous streak, threatening to add to their tally. Finally, Kinsella down the right. Mayhem in the Portsmouth defence. Enter John Solarco, stage left. Top of the table. And it was next stop, Ipswich Town. Now Scowcroft. Yes, it's gone through. It may have taken a deflection, but it's Scowcroft's goal. Kinsella's corner. Hunt, 1-1. Immediate response. What a start to this game. 2 goals in 7 minutes. And the knockback was by Youds. That'll make him feel better. Robinson. Hunt. That's nice. That's very nice. That's 2-1. Number 7 of the season. And it's a chance, and it's 2-2. Lapham's corner. Scowcroft, yes! David Johnson. Ipswich ahead. Scowcroft. Stockwell. It's 4-2. Back home and the visit of West Brom. And for the benefit of any latecomers, straight from the kickoff came one of the best chances of a match that, with all due respect, won't be remembered as one of the highlights of the season. Hunt's shot hit Alan Miller's legs. There were 1 or 2 half chances as the match progressed. But anyone that had got 0-0 in the golden goal ticket probably knew they were onto a winner some way from the end. One of those days that happen in every season to every club. A point gained, but down to 3rd place. Just how significant the point would be, only time would tell. From the forgettable to the unforgettable. And he's got in at the far post and scored. Gareth Roberts the man. And Tranmere lead by a goal to 0. Ellison went jumping for the flick on. Charlton at the moment really missing the inspirational Kinsella, and they could be in more trouble and are. It's Andy Parkinson, and it's 2 in a minute for the Merseysiders. Oh, and the keeper made a mess of it, and they're back in it. And it's Steve Brown. It was Murphy's mess from the corner. He punched it straight to him. Plenty of men forward and have stayed forward. Solarco's cross. Now where's that going to end up? It's Robinson and it's 2-2. What a fight back by Charlton Athletic. I don't believe it. And it's Richard Rufus. What a difference Solarco's made since he came on. Rufus's header. And surely now it's over. After that amazing evening's entertainment, it was next stop St Andrews and the second match in 4 weeks against Birmingham City. While Mendonca had the early chances, but Gary Rowett's corner was headed in by Brian Hughes to give Birmingham the lead. That with the clock showing 26 minutes. Birmingham had other chances. Dean Kiley producing superb saves. Another away day followed, and Martin Pringle made the most of his opportunity in the rearranged match at Gresty Road. He was in place of the injured Clive Mendonca, and his run gave Graham Stewart the chance to put Charlton 1 up. After 25 minutes, the lead was doubled. Kinsella to Hunt, cross to the far post. Martin Pringle this time turned goal scorer. Victory was secure as newly promoted Walsall arrived at the Valley and took a lead after 35 minutes with Gabby Buckran's free kick after Keith Jones was penalised. So Charlton had to do it the hard way. They certainly had plenty of chances. Martin Pringle heading one just over. The equaliser virtually on the stroke of half-time. First Pringle, then Stewart. The goalkeeper blocked. Pringle headed, and Andy Hunt squared the match at 1-1. "15 minutes from the end, it was 2-1. Robinson for Shields. Graham Stewart. 2-1. Charlton ahead, but the drama not over. For this match won't only be remembered for the victory, but for a quite astonishing save. The talk after the match was, how on earth did Dean Kiley get to that? It rained goals at Blundell Park the following Friday, with Sasa Ilic replacing the international-bound Dean Kiley in the Charlton net. After 13 minutes, Richard Rufus put Alan Kirbishley's men into the lead from a Kinsella cross. After 26 minutes, Greg Shields conceded a penalty when the referee ruled that he brought down David Smith. Lee Ashcroft making it 1-1. Another Kinsella free kick, another Richard Rufus header. Another good night at the office for the Charlton centre-half. His team's advantage restored. How to make a nuisance of yourself in the opposition box. A minute after half-time, Grimsby were level. Donovan's run. From a narrow angle, Grimsby had made it 2-2. That was the cue for Charlton Athletic to move up a gear. Richard Rufus had hit a post, and then after 55 minutes, Clive Mendonca, against his old club, was first to respond after Eddie Youd's header from Kinsella's corner was parried. After 62 minutes, Mendonca clear on the left. Andy Hunt, 4-2. Number 9 of the season for the number 9. And after 76 minutes, Powell, enjoying the freedom of the parish. An own goal debited against Coyne. An emphatic victory and time to take stock.
Was there any worries in your mind going into that opening game of the season of how they would respond to being back in the Nationwide, how the crowd might respond to being back in the Nationwide?
I had a couple, right? Obviously, you can't go into any campaign. I had a couple of worries on our behalf. The first one was the expectation level. Rightly or wrongly, people's installing us as favourites, and I don't know why. Simply because we've just been relegated from the Premiership. Because there was clubs in there that were a lot bigger than us and was prepared to spend a lot more money than us. And I also had that worry that I always knew that we'd be 3 games behind everybody else because of the international call-ups. And if we didn't get a good start against Barnsley, and in the next game against Norwich, because we had a game called off, if we hadn't have had a good start, then them 3 games might have took its toll. And, we could have turned around after 8 or 9 games and been in the bottom half quite easily if it hadn't worked out for us. So that was my big fear at the start of the season.
So to a run of 5 games in a fortnight, starting with the eagerly anticipated meeting with Manchester City at a packed Valley. The pressure all came from the home side. City quite happy to defend in numbers. 3 minutes after half-time came the crucial moment. Corner. Another opportunity to knock the ball back in by Kevin Horlock. And Sean Gota nipped in between the centre halves. Charlton gave it everything. John Robinson, amongst the many players involved in attacking moves. The search for the equaliser made this a contest not to be missed. Martin Pringle, though, will regret putting that one over the top. This angle shows how close Kinsella came. And in injury time, Weaver made a superb save to deny Andy Hunt. The points went up the M6. So Charlton in 3rd place, 4 points behind Manchester City, with a game in hand. And next to a team in desperate trouble at the other end of the table, Swindon Town. John Robinson from a Kinsella free kick made it 1. And Robinson found Newton, who made it 2, 7 minutes before half-time. Swindon, though, were fighting for their lives. And Michael Carrick made it 2-1, just 2 minutes later. That was the end of the goals. Charlton back into 2nd place, though not without a scare or two along the way. Swindon still want to know how that didn't go in. Back at the Valley for Port Vale. And after 15 minutes, Clive Mendonca arrives. 1-0. Kinsella's corner, flick on from Brown. Mendonca, 38 minutes, 2-0. The match looked to be over. But into the second half, Port Vale's counter-attack, and Rougier makes it 2-1. Maybe there is still work to do. Correct. Martin Foyle on the far post levels it at 2-2. And although Charlton came agonisingly close again to forcing a win, the woodwork denied them, and it was back down to 3rd place in the table. Next, pig-spending Blackburn. Criticised by many for being underachievers. No offside as Ashley Ward gave them the lead. On the stroke of half-time, Hunt's knocked down, and Sean Newton's absolute cracker makes it 1-1. Venomous, vicious finish. Keeper no chance. 4 minutes into the second half. Ostenstad got past Rufus. And Ashley Ward finished it. His second of the night. Victory for Blackburn. The repeat of the opening day fixture at Barnsley. And after just 2 minutes, Steve Chettle made it 1-0 to the Oakwell side. Not for the first time, Charlton had to come from behind. It seemed as though concession of a goal got the best out of the players. 3 minutes before half-time, a goal of real quality. Although it was deflected by Steve Chettle, it was scored by Keith Jones. Made it 1-1, and into the second half, Andy Hunt had an effort parried off the line. There were bodies everywhere, but it wouldn't go in. From the league to the cup, and Swindon Town again for the second time in 3 weeks. John Solarco and Andy Todd made their home debuts, but Mark Kinsella showed them how 2 minutes after half-time. Swindon equalised with an excellent Ty Gooden goal, taking on 3 players and firing it past Dean Kiley. But the passage into round 4 was secure. 7 minutes later, 58 minutes in total had been played. Steve Brown fed captain Mark Kinsella, and Charlton were in the 4th round draw. The captain leading from the front. Another afternoon to forget. Queen's Park Rangers 0, Charlton Athletic 0. Kinsella and Brown both missing through suspension. 1 or 2 chances. Chris Kiwomya of Queen's Park Rangers sent off following a clash with Richard Rufus. Charlton went into Christmas down in 4th place as they played another London team, Crystal Palace, on Boxing Day, and once more went a goal down. Craig Foster's free kick, and Drew Martin scored. The equaliser on 12 minutes. The man that scored it, former Palace player John Solarco, after Kinsella and Hunt had combined. In the right place at the right time. What turned out to be the winner came just a minute later. Brown down the flank. The Charlton front line faster to it than the Palace back line. Martin Pringle. 2-1. A perfect Christmas present. The last match of the millennium was at the McAlpine Stadium, where Huddersfield were unbeaten, but after 29 minutes, great skills by Andy Hunt, and Charlton were ahead. They completely dominated the first half, and after 35 minutes, doubled their advantage. Again, John Robinson very much involved, and scoring a goal that had to be a candidate for one of the best scored by this free-scoring team throughout the season. If at first you don't succeed, pick that one out, Mr. Goalkeeper. Andy Hunt tried his luck. Huddersfield finally got one back 10 minutes from time when Marcus Stewart put the ball in. Huddersfield's proud home record was gone, and Charlton ended the year a game in hand, 4 points off the top of the table. The message was Happy New Year when Nottingham Forest visited the Valley. A New Year present to the fans from Greg Shields. Another thrilling blockbuster. Just 7 minutes gone. Into the second half, and Andy Hunt feeds Graham Stewart 2-0. Six minutes later, Andy Hunt, who'd made the second, scored the third. 3 wins on the bounce, with an FA Cup fourth round to come. The excitement around the Valley about what the new year had in store was mounting. The league match between Queen's Park Rangers and Charlton the previous month had been very forgettable. There were just a few moments to savour in this one. First, a missed penalty by Graham Stewart. And within a minute, Sean Newton drove the ball in. And Charlie McDonald, his first senior start, got the winning goal. And so to the Wolves. Their mission to boldly do what no Charlton team had done since 1953 and come home with a victory. A setback after 17 minutes with a Harvard flow goal, and then the business as usual signs. Sean Newton's effort, Oakes makes the save. Cross from the right, and Richard Rufus scores with his head. On the stroke of half-time, Wolves again undone by the cross, this time from the corner, and Martin Pringle scores. 72 minutes, Sean Newton, and watch for the late John Robinson show, coming in last man to arrive to connect perfectly and make it 3-1. Wolves gave themselves hope with Steve Sedgley's goal 4 minutes later. A 5th consecutive win and a match against Crewe at the Valley to follow. Charlton had gone top of the table with victory at Wolves. 1 goal was enough to beat the Railwaymen. It was Graham Stewart's after 12 minutes. Win number 6. It perhaps should have been more. But it's points that matter. And at Norwich, one man had a day to remember. Early chances, they came and went at both ends. Sean Newton missing one. Robinson's corner to the far post 3 minutes before half-time. Met by Andy Hunt. Oh, so simple. Works on the training ground, and occasionally works on the pitch as well. That goal spurred Charlton. Andy Hunt was disappointed not to have hit the target and made the goalkeeper get his knees dirty with that one. But Hunt finally got it right in some style. Newton's cross over the top in the second half. Pringle to Hunt, 73 minutes. The goalkeeper can only parry. It's 2. And 5 minutes later, it's 3. It's that man again, Andy Hunt's second hat-trick of the season. Charlton have won 7 on the bounce. And Coventry, Gordon Strachan, before the kick-off making clear, are well aware of it. And Roussel! Musical statues in the defence, and the Premiership side are in front. McAllister. Roussel, it's 2. And we've not completed a quarter of the match. Alan Kerbishley making the point how pleased he's been with his team's performances away from home. But they've now really got to roll up their sleeves. And Edmund has just about done enough. Newton, that's good. And that's 2-1. Robinson the scorer. Newton the acrobat. And they're back in it. It's a lovely, lovely piece of balance by Newton. Judged it to perfection, and Robinson scored it. Looks even better from that angle, doesn't it? That goal has really changed things. Headman's only palmed it, Newton. Well, I don't think Pringle got the touch. I think he jumped out of the way. But Charlton are back at 2-2 with 2 in 3 minutes. Did it again. And did Pringle get the touch? Or was it Newton's as Headman parried it? No, Pringle jumped out of the way. Newton again. May still have a chance. He's put it over. Dear, oh dear. It will not go in, will it? For all their efforts and all their endeavours. Pringle. Now Powell. Todd. Hunt. Yes! What a story. 2 down and dead. And 3-2 to the First Division side. And Andy Hunt surely has sunk the Sky Blues. Character, spirit and determination. How many other sides could have come back?
Is there one game which you'd look back on with perhaps great satisfaction more than any other from this season?
No, not really. I mean, you know, the saves obviously contribute to a win or a draw, you know, and get the club points, obviously, are the most satisfying ones. I suppose as a game, as an individual, while I didn't have a great deal to do, was the Coventry game, as obviously I played there for 3 years and my family still live around there. So, you know, that had a lot of ties and connections for me, and obviously to win at Highfield Road for me was very, very pleasing.
That would be the highlight for a lot of fans, even though the league campaign's been so great. I mean, that was an incredible match, that game.
Yeah, like I say, I mean, funnily enough, I didn't have a great deal to do, which I thought I would be busy before the game, but no, I just think as an occasion, as a day, and obviously with the special meaning with it, I'm obviously from that area anyway. Yeah, it was fantastic and just, you know, topped it off nicely, I think.
Stockport had an unhappy time when they visited the Valley, taken to the cleaners with 4 second-half goals. They were after revenge, and after 25 minutes, Pradin gave them the lead. Charlton's response 4 minutes before half-time. That man again, Andy Hunt. It looked like being 1-1 at the interval. Then, a minute before the break, Stewart for Newton. Andy Hunt, 2-1. Hunt was scoring goals for fun. And here was proof, right in the last minute. A splendid goal, his third hat-trick of the season, and his second consecutive league hat-trick. His second hat-trick against Stockport. The winning run extended.
You scored hat-tricks at Norwich and Stockport. Which one gave you more satisfaction? Is that easy to say?
Yeah, Norwich, because that's where I grew up, really. So my family were there on the day, a few friends, so that one was definitely the better. I mean, I thought the Stockport one was a good one because I only really had 4 shots on goal, and the other one the keeper tipped over, so I scored 3 out of 4. Whereas at Norwich I missed a sitter from a yard or something, and you know, I had a couple of other chances. So you know, I suppose you're just pleased with how clinical, you know, my chances were.
2 home games in 4 days followed. First, the chance to do the double over Wolves and extend that amazing record to 10 consecutive wins, 8 of them in the league. A goalless first half. The action coming thick and fast throughout, though. Again, Andy Hunt going close, only to be denied by Michael Oakes. They were starting to talk about records. Oakes seemed to have a personal duel with Hunt in a bid to ensure that he didn't get another goal. 3 minutes after half-time, the deadlock was broken. Newton to Pringle. Hugh Graham-Stewart. 1-0. Steve Brown has done just about every job for Charlton, including as an emergency goalkeeper. This moment, though, gave him particular pleasure. A splendid strike from the edge of the area after Barnes's cross was headed back by Richard Rufus. That was the closest Wolves came. Charlton had done enough and sat proudly 4 points clear of Manchester City and 5 of Ipswich. And then came Fulham, chance to avenge that August defeat in what is always a special occasion, a London derby. Fulham sensed that their playoff hopes were slipping, and they came looking for a result. The only goal 11 minutes after half-time. John Robinson, the scorer. Newton's cross. Hunt nodded it down. Robinson sweeping up the afters. But it needed that save by Dean Kiley to ensure that the Charlton fans were singing in the rain.
There were a couple of games at crucial times of the season which were won 1-0 at a sort of stage of the season, I suppose, where, you know, points any way you get them is important, and you scored the winners in both games. Fulham was a big game because they came and played very well at the Valley.
Yeah, they were. They don't really concede a lot of goals. They've got a good defensive record, and we knew it was going to be hard. I mean, teams are coming to the Valley this year. They, as you say, they do a game plan and they work very hard at it. And as you say, yeah, obviously very pleased that we got the winner and very pleased that we got the 3 points. So that was probably very satisfying for myself, yeah, I'd say so.
The run that had started on Boxing Day stood at 11 consecutive wins, 9 of them in the league. So to Bolton and to the FA Cup quarter-final. A fairly even first half. There were chances at both ends. The crucial moment, a minute after half-time, with Johnson and Johansson combining. And the Iceman cometh, and Charlton's FA Cup dreams goeth, though not without some tremendous late pressure. John Robinson unable to force one in. Mark Kinsella with a late effort from long range, well saved by Jääskeläinen. Bolton had had a man sent off, but the 10 held on. Welsh international John Robinson still doesn't know how his didn't go in.
Your name is in the sort of Charlton history books now because you have more caps for your country, Wales, than any other Charlton players ever won.
Yeah, obviously that's very satisfying, very pleasing. I mean, things like that they can't take away from you. But I mean, you've got Dean Cowley, Mark Kinsella that's coming up in internationals as well. I mean, they're quality players. So at the moment, I'm trying to stay a step ahead of them. So that's the spur I need as well, because it's, as you say, you all want to play for your country in that. And I'm sure if I don't carry on doing it, hopefully there may be someone to beat. But as long as that my name's at the top of it, I'm pleased and very proud of it. But I'm sure Mark and Dean will probably have something to say about it. But that's the strength of this club.
The FA Cup exit left just the biggest prize of all to concentrate on. Promotion to the promised land and a home game against Sheffield United. 2 minutes after half-time, the only goal. Charlton had made much of the early running. Newton produced a very good cross. And pressure continued to build. Newton down the right once more. So often the supply line, working his way into space, producing the cross. Robinson at the far post. A 10th consecutive league win. February ended as it began, in style.
Was there a point in the season when you suddenly realised that you were likely to go on and dominate the league as you did?
Yeah, I thought, a lot of people talk around Christmas. If you can come through the Christmas period with your points intact, you can start the new year off. And I thought the 12 games unbeaten was tremendous for us. But when we lost to Swindon, I think a lot of clubs thought mentally we might fall back in that. But we had Man City the following week, and we went there, got a draw. We had 3 games then, Sheffield, 2 local derbies at Palace and QPR. And to win them 3, and not after the defeat against Swindon, I thought it was what really won the season for us. I think everyone looked up and said, well, we'll have to work on the second place now. As I think Charlton, they're not going to falter then, we'll probably never falter.
Can you try and think back to that run where you had the 14 games unbeaten in League and Cup, the 12 successive victories? I mean, that was a fantastic run for the club, and the fans were absolutely lapping it up, weren't they?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just one of the things where it just breeds confidence, and we were going out every game, and it was... the management didn't really have to do a great deal, just oil us up and send us out, and we were producing the goods. For myself personally, it was great to be involved in such a momentous achievement. I can't see it being beaten for a very, very long time, so to be part of that was most gratifying.
Do you start feeling like a sort of collective super team or like a Superman? As you say, you just go out there and you think, we're not going to lose.
That's it, yeah. I mean, it's the same, it goes the other way as well when you're lacking confidence and nothing seems to go right for you. But, I wouldn't say there's any luck or anything involved in it. We basically went out and we turned teams over, home or away, and, gathered maximum points in a great run of games. And that, looking at the whole thing, that broke the back of everybody else, and that put us where we are, which is top of the league.
John, it's been another fantastic season for the club, obviously. Was there a personal high point, do you think, through the season as you look back?
Yeah, obviously the start of the 12-match unbeaten run, when we were going through it, because we were winning, like as you say, 6 or 7 on the bounce, and the other teams were winning. And the satisfying thing was we kept going when we were coming in after games, us winning, realising the others were winning. We couldn't shake them off. So a lot of teams might have buckled at that stage. So that was very satisfying. And the start, to be perfectly honest, because people forget about the start. It was a good, steady one. And to come back from the disappointment of being in the Premiership and then coming back down, it had to show a lot of character, and this is what the side's all about. It shows a hell of a lot of character to come and start as we did and give ourselves a good base. Like Blackburn and Forest, who came down as well, they didn't give themselves a good start, so you're playing catch-up. So probably those two things were probably very satisfying.
And so to March began with a case of once more onto the Reebok Stadium, dear Charlton fans, once more. Try to avenge the FA Cup defeat and keep the record run intact, or the run that was building up towards a record anyway by this stage. All the action came late. The first goal, 81 minutes. Martin Pringle, a splendid run through the acres of space left by the Bolton defence, and a good finish. Any doubts allayed within a minute. Fish's mistake, and Bolton had their chips as Andy Hunt steamed in for the second. Next, Charlton's first ever visit to the Basket Stadium, Walsall. An incident-packed night, a foul on Buckran by Stewart. Mark Robbins from the penalty spot, 22 minutes, 1-0 Walsall. The lead lasted 2 minutes. Andy Hunt equalising. 3 points for Charlton would extend their remarkable record-breaking run to 12 league victories. This was great entertainment for the live television audience. Andy Hunt giving them the lead for the first time in the match after 32 minutes. And then a splendid goal by Mark Kinsella on the stroke of half-time, making it 3-1. Walsall got the first goal of the second half. Flatshot's header, making it 3-2. But within a minute, Charlton had extended their lead again, making it 4-2. Kinsella with another excellent goal. The captain getting his second of the night. Charlton's best away win had been 5-2 at Grimsby. They know they should have equalled it. Martin Pringle somehow missed it. And so, to relegation-threatened Swindon, Dean Kiley fans look away. Charlton's generosity, unending it seemed. They presented Swindon with £2,000 from the jackpot draw so that they could send their youth team to Northern Ireland to take part in the Milk Cup. And they presented them with 3 points. The opportunities came and the opportunities went, as did that proud 12-match winning record.
Because you had a sort of flip side of the coin. You had that dreadful run in the Premier League when you just couldn't get a point. And then you had this run where you just didn't look like you were ever going to drop a point. Once the ball starts rolling, it really rolls, doesn't it?
It's very different though. I think that, you know, a lot of the games in that 12-game run we did play well and deservedly won. I think there's only a couple of games where perhaps we sneaked it. But in that bad run in the Premiership, we weren't playing particularly bad. We just couldn't get a result, and individual mistakes or whatever. But that 12-game run, you know, I don't think really has been given the credit. I mean, I didn't even win Manager of the Month on that 12-game run. You know, it's incredible. I don't think any of us really got the recognition for what we've done there, and I don't think you're ever going to see it again. I'd like to think you would at Charlton, but I don't think you're ever going to see a 12-game winning streak like that.
Know that this could be the crucial one, and that's a fine save. Dean Kiley doing what he had to. Now Newton. Hunt! Yes! No, the flag's up. It won't count. I think it was against Robinson. Gota! And this time it does count. Robinson. And it's gone there. It was deflected in. But Charlton are level. This is Robinson. The hair in the middle is Martin Pringle. Great chance. Oh dear. Oh, he's got it away in the end. As Dean Kiley. Grimsby had leaked 5 against Charlton at Blundell Park. This match at the Valley was a case of heads you win. Number 1, Newton from Svensson. Number 2, Svensson from Newton. First goal for Matthias Svensson since signing from Crystal Palace. An hour in. Robinson for Hunt. There was no doubt the points were Charlton's. 13 clear with 9 games left. The 4th, Kinsella's corner. The header from Carl Tyler. And time for the new boy to have his say.
But what is it about Alan Kirbishley, do you think, that makes him so highly rated as one of the very best managers around?
It's hard to put a finger on it. I think obviously he's as calm as anyone. He's like a maid in the dressing room almost. You can talk to him about anything, and he's strolling around, having a bit of a chat with anyone sitting down here and there, and just like a normal player really. And I think that's put us all down to a good relationship with the players and the board and the management stuff. So it's been absolutely superb, yeah.
The last time Charlton had won a league match at Svensson's former club was before Alan Kirbishley or any of the players were born. That record was laid to rest 8 minutes from time. Chris Powell's cross and Paul Kitson on loan from West Ham delivered the final coup de grace. So Charlton 13 points clear. Their closest rivals only had 7 games to play. Next to the London derby against Queen's Park Rangers. Sean Newton, after just 2 minutes, putting Charlton in front. His first effort had been blocked. He made no mistake at the second time of asking. It was beginning to look as though that was going to be enough, but 8 minutes from time, Gareth Taylor into an empty net, equalised for battling Queen's Park Rangers. 2 minutes from time, Robinson through to Hunt, shot to the far post, and Scott Parker grabbed a priceless goal. The youngster jubilant, and quite understandably.
Scott, that Queen's Park Rangers game was at a very important time of the season, and it was a very tough game for you. A lot of teams at that stage were just coming to defend and saying, all right, you try and break us down.
Yeah, I feel like the QPR game, especially at home, like you say, there was a lot of teams coming to the Valley at that stage, and you know, coming behind the ball, and they were going to pack the defence out and just get draws and a 0-0. And you know, I suppose the goal, looking at it now, was pretty crucial. So it was great, really.
Port Vale had come back from 2 goals down to draw at Charlton earlier in the season. April had long looked likely to be the crucial month, and it didn't start well. Vale a goal up after 40 minutes. Just after the hour, Charlton were level. But before that, plenty of pressure. The equaliser, when it came, bundled in by Richard Rufus. Within a minute, though, Vale back in front. Saggy Burton supplying the finish. There were to be 3 goals in 7 minutes. The third enough to earn Charlton a point. Corner. Won by Kinsella, taken by Kinsella. And the resultant goal scored by Andy Hunt. Right at the end, Charlton almost won it. But the draw meant that at Nottingham Forest the following Saturday, it could have been the day. A great start, Andy Hunt, after 30 minutes, 1-0. Dean Kiley, though, had to come to the rescue. Another top draw save, this time from Jack Lester. Just as it seemed as though the champagne could move closer, a penalty. Barnes penalised for a foul on Rodgers. Chris Bart-Williams 1-1. The club had laid on free travel for 5,200 fans and subsidised their match tickets to say thank you to the supporters. But they were going to have to wait for the dreaded P word a little bit longer. There's always something special about clinching promotion in front of your home supporters. The expectancy factor against Huddersfield could hardly have been higher. Statistics show that on the night, Charlton created 25 chances, but not one of them went in as they tried to do the double over the Terriers, having inflicted their first home defeat of the season over Christmas. The goal that won it, though, an absolute beauty. No manager can legislate for Clive Wynyard's strike. And although Newton went close as the match wore on, it seemed as though 7 more days were going to have to be passed before the visit of Portsmouth and another chance to reach the promised land. Charlton, though, wanted to put the supporters out of their misery. Richard Rufus went close, but it wasn't to be. And against Portsmouth on Good Friday, Lee Bradbury's goal again put the pressure on the home side. The equaliser in 64 minutes came as after a spell of Charlton pressure that had seen them put shots wide, over the top, and virtually everywhere but in the back of the net. And fair play to the Portsmouth defence. They played well, but they had no answer when finally the effort came for Svensson right the way across, and Graham Stewart put the ball in the back of the net. They'd have to wait for the other results to know if by the time they got to Blackburn they would be promoted. And for the manager.
And what about Andy Hunt's season? It's been an amazing season for him personally. 25 goals, I think it is at the moment. So many goals has been scored away from home as well. He had the 2 consecutive hat-tricks away. I mean, there's been times he hasn't been able to stop putting the ball in for you.
Well, I would say to you that Andy Hunt has not performed any different this year than he did last year. Except the goals have gone in, you know. He'd be the first to admit he didn't score enough goals in the Premiership. He'd be the first to admit he had as many chances. And, you know, that's been the big difference for Andy this year. Now, you may say that we're playing against lesser quality or whatever, but they've gone in, and I just hope that gives them the confidence that they can go in the Premiership, because his overall play, his general play and everything else is what we need.
Andy Hunt, Valley hero, beating opposition defenders, a speciality. And so to Easter Monday, the Red Army's trip to Lancashire was a triumphant one. Ipswich's defeat at Queen's Park Rangers on the Saturday meant Charlton were up, and if they could do as well as Manchester City, who were at Portsmouth, they'd be champions. Svensson's goal after 24 minutes set them up. There were other chances as well. Blackburn Rovers were determined. They were not going to go down without a real battle. And just after the hour, they were level. Dunn went dancing. Svensson brought him down. And the referee pointed to the penalty spot. Lee Carsley made it 1-1. And that was the final score. Charlton fans waited and hoped for news of Manchester City at Portsmouth. The news was tidings of comfort and joy. The championship secured by Lee Bradbury's second goal. Bradbury, who'd ruined the Valley party the previous Friday, had returned the favour. Charlton were the champions.
Mark, it's 2-2 the Man City game, so in the end this was irrelevant.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, we had 3 or 4 opportunities to win it at our place the last 2 games. So, you know, we were disappointed we didn't do it at home, but we'll take it anyway. I mean, we've worked hard all season. We got the 15-point gap, and it was there to be at, and we're delighted.
Which is sweeter, promotion or the title?
Oh, the title is absolutely superb. Our main aim at the beginning was promotion, but to top it off with a medal and a cup, it's going to go up in style.
And not a bad group, not a bad following.
Massive, massive. I mean, they came out in droves against today. Every away game we've had now, we've had thousands following. It's been superb.
That meant party day for the last home game against Ipswich. But had the Suffolk side read the script? The commentary comes from Peter Drury.
Charlton for Stewart. And again, Jim Majolt. Tigerish tackle from Kinsella. In by Wilness. Header from Scowcroft. Wonderful stop. Plunging to his right by Kiley. Robinson, inviting ball for Kitson. Mowbray's got across. Here's error. Kitson's onto it. Hunt waits in the penalty area. Powell is up for Kitson's pullback. Ryder's come and got a hand to it, and Stewart hit it first time. And McJilton has hit it and scored! Promotion is not settled yet. Into the last 3 minutes of the first half. Robinson. Hunt. Well, Powell is all alone now, with space and time to dig out a cross. It's Powell across goal, and how between them did they miss? But Johnson stole it from Stewart and played it through for Johnson. It's David Johnson for Ipswich. It's 2-0 Ipswich. From him, Brown. Parker. Scott Parker. Oh! They're chasing the game at one end, and they're in danger of being torn apart at the other. And the ball has come for Roycer, and Roycer has scrambled it in, and Ipswich are home and dry. Robinson's played it in. Hunt! Something to smile about. Some Charlton cheer on what was meant to be their cheeriest day. Andy Hunt, with his 25th goal of the season, cottoning onto a cross with such eagerness and such anticipation. Charlton. Well, champions Charlton do remain. This will barely dampen the mood.
Can you show your appreciation, please, for the board of directors of Charlton Athletic? This has been one hell of a success story. Please welcome England international, John Sarko.
entrenched worship of their fans. That worship now is reaching its zenith as Captain Mark Kinsella makes his way on.
Please raise the room for welcome, Alan Kirbysley.
Does any manager anywhere in any league enjoy his fans' appreciation and his utter job security quite like Alan Kirbysley? This time, the job was just about done by the end of March. His triumph rubber-stamped now at the end of April. There is the entire Charlton squad. The trophy will be presented to them by the chairman of the Football League, Peter Middleton, and Peter Gandolfi, sponsorship manager of the Nationwide Building Society. It's a trophy that means that Charlton this time are not just going up, Charlton this time are going up as champions. "65 years since their last divisional trophy. And that trophy is the original. The Football League champions. No need for a playoff this time. No need for a penalty shootout. Charlton did it in regulation time. They did it in record time. They never in their history have been promoted this fast. And those folk have been blessed by glorious sunshine in which to mark the achievement. This is a club that stands for something. This is a club whose players empathise with fans, whose fans empathise with players. They were FA Cup quarter-finalists, don't forget. They had a 12-match winning run between Boxing Day and Shrove Tuesday. They even could manage an entirely winless April. They were that far ahead of the field. They, like the fireworks banging behind them, were up and away. They were touching the sky.
They parted long into the night in and around the valley on that Saturday. The result hadn't changed one iota. This was one to savour, 2 years on from the drama of Wembley. This time, Charlton were in front of their own fans at their own stadium. For young and old, one to treasure and one to tell the grandchildren about. "12 months ago, it had been a valley of tears. A year, as they say, is a long time in football. The team that Alan had built was back amongst the game's elite. Although those final points to get across the finishing line hadn't half, or so it seemed, taken a long time coming.
You know, we had all them opportunities. Notts Forest away, you know, Huddersfield at home, Portsmouth at home, and even Ipswich last week had the opportunity to really have a party, and we've managed not to do it, you know. And I found out we got promoted while I was driving along the M11. We won the championship up at Blackburn. You know, we had a few fans up there, but, you know, and we was grateful for that. But we got back on the bus and no one had a drink. You know, we all had to drive home. So really, the celebration has been a bit muted. And the one day we had a chance of really lifting off against Ipswich, we went and blew it in terms of the performance. But I think the fans were happy enough afterwards, you know, and we all were really. But, you know, I don't think, for us, we've really sat down and said, right, great. That's a, you know, fantastic achievement.
The final match of the season at West Bromwich Albion ended in a 2-0 defeat. Second half goals from Richard Sneeks and Bob Taylor winning the match for the Baggies. But there was plenty to reflect on. Records smashed all over the place. For Dean Kiley, he equalled the record number of clean sheets for a season with 19. For Richard Rufus, voted Supporters Club Player of the Year, the title won by Mark Kinsella for the last 2 seasons. And for Charlie McDonald, selected by Alan Kirbishley as Young Player of the Year. The message clear. The Premiership Express will reach its destination in August. The final words come from the manager, the chairman, and first the captain.
And to be fair, what the team has achieved this season has been achieved with some high-profile players injured for a lot of the time. Carl Tyler missed most of the season. Clive Mendonca had got 8 or 9 goals by November and then missed the rest of it. So these are players who will hopefully be, you know, well, Carl Tyler's back, but hopefully Clive will be okay again next season. And
very much so. I mean, we lost Eddie at Christmas, Boxing Day, and Brownie's come in and done a tremendous job. Keith Jones has been injured, has come back now. We've got young lads at Scotty, and Paul and Jesse who are breaking the play. I missed 8 or 9. I think Stewie missed a couple, like you said. Tyler's is back, Royce's back from the knee. We've got players. The squad's big enough when everyone's fit, and experience-wise probably not the strongest, but commitment and everything else, you get everything at this club, and we're looking. I think the club, I assume, will strengthen it in the summer, which we're all looking forward to. New places come in, new faces, and start a new season.
Do you feel that the club and the team are better equipped to survive this time around than they were 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think they most definitely are. I think we've got a better squad already than we had when we were in the Premiership, and Alan this year is going to have some transfer funds to add to it. I think to be able to finish the last millennium as Division 1 champions and start the new millennium in the Premiership is a terrific achievement for everybody connected with the football club. In 7 years we've come so far, and I think so many people come out with credit. Alan Kirbishley and the management team, who have been with us all that period, and the players have just been brilliant, both on and off the pitch, and we're very proud of them here at Charlton.
And we should mention the supporters as well, because they've stuck by you, even though they'd had a season of Premier League football. It was perfectly clear right from the off this season that attendances weren't going to drop at all, that there was exactly the same atmosphere and support as there always has been at the Valley.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, the home support went up this year. We averaged 19,000 home supporters, which is a terrific achievement. But I think everybody who's connected with Charlton knows that really from the fans through to the board, and the board are only fans after all, we're all pulling together, and I think that will hold us in good stead in the future.
If you believe what you read, you at this moment have more money to spend than any other Charlton manager in the history of the club. That brings its own pressures and responsibilities, of course, for the summer.
I think I've earned that right. You know, over the years, I think that the club's been steadily built up. You know, the chairman has only just said to the players earlier on that, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, we was playing in front of 6,000 fans and 3 sides at the Valley and all that went with that, and not having a ground and all that business. But I think I've earned the right to have some money to spend. You know,
do you enjoy that? Do you enjoy the thought of it?
Well, sometimes it's easier not having any money. You know, there's no pressure on you and you're not scrutinised, and perhaps it's easier when you've got no expectation level, like a lot of clubs have got. But no, I mean, we've played in. We've had 3 really big seasons, you know, promotion, relegation, now promotion again. In all fairness, that's what you want to be playing in, you know, and we know that's what it's all about. And, you know, people would have given anything to have been against Ipswich last week in front of that crowd, that celebration, and that's what we've earned. But no, I've got some money to spend, but, you know, last year, I sold £5 million worth of players last year. Danny Mills, Steve Jones, Kevin Nichols and Neil Redfern. And I spent 2.5, you know, so I had money to spend last year. So I won't be spending it just for the sake of it. You know, I'll try and spend it wisely and make sure that the players I bring in are players that understand what we're about, and also that we can pay their wages. because I don't want the chairman turning around. I mean, I could take the other view, spend their money. You know, it might not be my problem in a couple of years' time. But no, you know, I'm not like that. I think that I don't want the chairman to turn around to me if we're not successful next year and tell me I've got to sell one of my better players. I don't want to get in that position. And but yeah, we're in a healthy position. I think for a lot of people that have come through thick and thin with us, you know, this is unbelievable, the situation we find ourselves in, and we've all worked hard to be there.